In this part, we're going to be in the kitchen, as my living room's full of bike bits and I need some sort of area to rebuild the rest of the bike while I'm pursuing happiness through the engine. I'm going to start off by taking the clutch basket to bits, because that will allow us to freely turn the engine without it interfering with the gearbox. And I'll need to get the engine to top dead centre for taking the head off and the cam caps. And I'm just trying to give things a little visual inspection and clean as I go. This sitting top dead centre, so that exhaust and intake cams are pointed upwards. This is quite an important step, because if you don't do it, the cams will push down on the head, and then as you're trying to undo it, it's just going to make it harder. Now I'm taking the cam caps off. I use a crisscross method to make sure they come off under the most equal tension possibly. I generally just crack them off, and then once the pressure's off, I just take them out. You should always just be careful, just in case you get a stuck bolt in the head, because if you snap one there, it's just going to make everything 100 times worse. And after flooding an engine, I don't need anything worse. Now it's time for the head bolts. There's a specific order. I'll put it on the screen now so you can see what Yamaha say you should do when taking the head off your engine. I don't know whether they say put your foot on the engine and use a ratchet driver, but that's what I did. Now they are all cracked under. I'm just going through, having a look at the top of the engine as I'm doing it. There's a little bit of milkshakey oil in there. So here it is, a little bit of milkshake left over. You can see the 6 head bolts are still in. They're the ones with the 12s written on them. They're still in. They're all loose. And you can see the 8 valve covers, which I think sometimes they're called buckets. So your valves sit underneath there. But we're going to leave the head in one piece for the minute. And then I'll address everything going forward as I rebuild it. So now we got to the pistons. They're a little bit grim, but I'm sure they'll buff up. And there's no visible damage like dings or anything, which I was worried about when I heard that valve noise. Now the head's off, we can turn the engine upside down, start undoing all the bolts on the other side, take the sump off, see what the state of all the oil is down there. That's the oil filter, the internal one. That's the bottom of the oil pump, bubbling some milkshake out of it. And now we've got the 27 bolts that hold the cases together, which must be undone in the correct order. If you're doing something like this and you do find you miss out a bolt or maybe 2 bolts, go back through the order and do them back up, like not super tight. You probably don't have to torque them all the way down, but if you can just get them like nipped up, you'll find the other ones will start undoing a lot easier. Try and pay attention though. I'm pretty sure I did this a little bit wrong. Tom distracted me. I'm pretty sure it's all Tom's fault. No, I don't blame Tom. It was definitely me. It probably didn't help that we were either listening to South Park or The Workshop. I can't remember which, but we were having a laugh as we was doing it, which probably led to some little mistakes of missing certain things. But before we went too far, we were double checking everything as we went. I seem to remember it being bolt 10 and bolt 11 that I fucked up, because they're under the oil pump and you have to take the oil pump out. And I'm pretty sure when I followed the manual, it doesn't tell you to take the oil pump out at this stage. Like, it doesn't give you a how to strip your engine all the way down. It tells you how to do, like, take it to bits, but it's not necessarily in a logical order. So sometimes you have to kind of look ahead in the manual. But it wasn't the end of the world. Like I say, we noticed that we hadn't done 10 and 11, just done a couple of the bolts back up and then took the oil pump out. And as long as you don't strong arm something and snap it in half, it's not the end of the world usually. So we're just doing the final checks, making sure all the outside bolts are out. We give it a bit of a tap with a rubber hammer, and as you can see, the cases are coming apart nice. I was quite keen to give the gearbox an inspection, as that's what got completely shagged last time I turboed an engine and it went wrong. But this looks good this time. Well, that's it for this one. The engine's in bits. It needs a proper clean, but I'll do that as I go forward. Probably won't record that as it sounds pretty boring. Got a lot of bits to order, like the gaskets and the stud bolts. So as for the next video, fuck knows what that'll be, but you take it easy and I'll catch you in a bit.